Good evening. Good morning.
Are we live already?
Yeah, we're live already.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you come in, please let us know where you're tuning in from. Comments. We are talking today about how to protect and grow your retirement account in this crazy economy, this crazy market. We're going to talk about what you need to do, what you can look at, what your options are, so that you can provide more certainty when it comes to your retirement and not be uncertain and fearful and confused.
You gotta hit
Right?
live on your Instagram.
Oh gosh, thank you so much. All right. So as you're coming in, please let us know where you're tuning in from. Grab a something to write with, something to write on, to take notes. And if you think of anyone who may have a retirement account, who may have concerns about their retirement, then go ahead and tag them, share this out, because we want to help as many people as we can. There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. If you have a retirement account, it's probably in the stock market. And if you notice, the stock market is kind of crazy
In the
this
toilet
year.
right now.
Yeah. And so we want you to know that there are things you can do, not just close your eyes and hope for the best. There's specific things that you can do to protect and even grow your retirement account. So we want to help to provide more certainty for you and everyone out there that has a retirement account with concerns. So,
And if you have questions as we're going through this, drop your questions. A lot of people don't understand how their retirement plans work because there's not a lot of education around that. So if that is something you want to learn about, drop your questions and comments. Let us know. We'll do our best to answer while we are live here today.
yes. And just to give you a little bit about like who this event is for specifically. So I mentioned we're talking about protecting and growing your retirement account. So if you have a retirement account, it could be a 401k at your current employer or at an old employer. You could have an IRA, you could have a Roth IRA, you could have a TSP, you could have a 403b. Any one of these accounts or retirement accounts could have an individual, just like an investment account in the stock market. Anything that you're using for retirement is probably in the market. And so this is going to be for you to be able to understand what you can do about your accounts. So be sure that you have something to write with. Like Martin said, ask your questions in the comments. We'll do our best to get to them live. And we're going to get started. And also at the end, so we're going to give you some information and then we'll show you how you can get more, how you can actually apply this to your specific account and situation. Okay, so welcome to how to protect and grow your retirement account. If you don't already know who we are, we're Martin and Chelsea Matthews. And we are founders of M Wealth Group. We have clients in 48 states. We have a combined 21 years experience, and we lead an agency of associate advisors. We've held multiple licenses in the fields of investment advisory, securities, and insurance. And we're also co-authors of this book, Let's Fight About Money, helping couples communicate about money, handle conflict, and build an unbreakable financial house. We help individuals and businesses to properly use cash flow to create personal wealth. And our mission is to deliver measurable results to help our clients build an unbreakable financial house and business so they can be free to live life by design. Now, we believe that the lack of financial education is one of the greatest economic crisis. I make up my own words, and that is one. Crisis is, okay, because it's so big.
Don't say crises, kids.
It's crises of our time, okay? And this is what we're doing to solve it, okay? We're going to help you to increase your knowledge, specifically around retirement today, your retirement accounts, so you can take more responsibility. Some people don't know anything about what to do with their retirement account, and their statements come and they just shove them in a drawer and they have no idea how to read it, what's happening with it, or that they could even do anything about it. So we want to help you increase your knowledge so you could take more responsibility and have more control. So you know what's happening with your account, you know what you could do about it, and you could take those actions to be sure that you get the results that you want.
Yeah, ultimately, everybody wants freedom, and everybody seems to want peace of mind in the subject of their finances. They want to know that they have enough coming in to handle the things that they need to handle and to live the life that they want to live. In order to do that, they need to be in control of their money and finances. And your retirement is a key part of that. So that's what Chelsea's talking about here is, in order for you to be in control of something, you got to be able to take responsibility for it. So increasing your knowledge today is actually a really good step. So I want to acknowledge you for doing that. And some of the information we have will help you to be in that control that you're looking for.
Yes. And you may have heard me mention a couple of times about building an unbreakable financial house. And what that means is really you can handle anything that comes your way financially. And no matter what, your finances are unbreakable, unshakable, no matter if a pandemic happens, if, whatever crisis is happen, you can handle it. And it's more than just being able to handle your finances, though. It's really creating the life you truly want to live so you can reach your potential. You can make the impact that you want to make in your life, your family's life, your community, and beyond. And so it's important to understand what makes up your financial house in order to build an unbreakable financial house. So there are 6 areas that make up your financial house. And when you identify where you are in each one and properly strengthen them, that's how you can build towards having an unbreakable financial house. So these 6 areas are where we help our clients, where we help people. We have tons of resources in each building block. We're not going to go over all of them today, but we're going to focus today on building block number 5, build wealth. Okay, and we're going to talk about that relating to your retirement account, how you can strengthen and ensure that you can rely on your retirement, that it's going to be there as long as you do. Okay, so Martin's going to go over some of that.
All right, so let's dive deeper into it. So now this was designed for people who ideally already have a retirement account that they're concerned about. So first thing is, most people who have a retirement account have a 401k. So I try to clarify to people that a 401k is technically not an investment. A 401k is tax code, is Internal Revenue Code, subsection 401k, right? It tells you how you can use that vehicle. So I always tell people a retirement account or 401k is like a shopping cart. So you choose what investments you want to put into the shopping cart. Most people's options that they have is mutual funds. So mutual fund is basically is a company where you buy shares into the company, you and 50, 100, thousands of other people. You put a little bit in and you all own a little piece of that mutual fund. And then you have a manager who manages the fund based on what the objective is of that fund. So for example, some people may want to have a growth fund or a balanced fund, which is a balanced fund is like you have 60% of the fund in stocks and 40% of the fund in bonds. The way that generally works is that generally when bonds generally are a little bit more stable because they generally pay a fixed rate of return. So bonds are perceived as more stable. Stocks may go up, but it has more volatility. So to balance it out, they may have some stocks and some bonds inside of the fund. And then you choose which fund you want to have. In your current 401k, you chose which fund you're in. Nobody can actually choose that for you. You go and you check the box to say, okay, this is how I want you to invest the 401k funds, right? So when you select that, those funds you're putting into your current 401k, that's how it's allocated. And then you get a statement, usually an annual statement. Sometimes you get a quarterly statement. It's important for you to look at it so you can see how much you contributed and then how much the growth has been, what's been the return, how's it doing. That's like a little check-in to make sure you're on track. So when I first came to America, I was born in Liberia in West Africa. When I first came to America and I ended up getting a job where I had a 401k, they told me, hey, sign up for the 401k, my coworkers. They're like, sign up for the 401k. Okay, great. What is it? Oh, it's your retirement. Okay, that's all the information I really understood. And so when I went to sign up for the 401k, to give me this list of funds to choose from. And I didn't know anything about it. So I went to ask the lady, hey, which one of these things you think I should pick? And she's like, we can't give you investment advice on this. So me at, how old was that? Like, I don't know, 18, 19 years old, something like that. I'm like, okay, so I got to sign up for this thing. I don't know how it works, but I got to pick these investment choices. So there was a fund that says growth fund. So I just picked, I like, okay, I want my money to grow. So clearly I should be in a growth fund. That's all I understood about it. So I checked that box. And for 4 years, I never looked at it. I had no idea what it was doing. And so, so I just kept every time I got paid, money went into the 401k. So the
I
way
just
you
picked the same ones my friends did. What are you
Yeah.
picking? Okay, I'll do that
You do
one.
that one. So
Yeah.
that, imagine planning for your retirement that way, but that's how a lot of people do it because there's a lack of financial education and financial literacy.
And I worked at a financial company.
Yeah,
Didn't
so
tell me
they
anything.
even then they couldn't, because they can't advise you on specifically how to, what funds to put in your basket called your 401k. You have to choose that. So that means the way to handle it is first getting a copy of your statement or logging into your account and seeing what's there so that you can know if you need to change anything, if it matches your risk tolerance, or if there's any adjustments you need to make to your existing 401k. So it's very important to understand because you may have signed up for years ago and your risk level years ago may not be the same as your risk level today. Maybe you want to be more aggressive, or maybe you want to be less aggressive, or maybe you just want to preserve the gains that you've made and reposition some of that. You can do all of that within your current 401k. So number one, make sure to get a statement. Log in. If you don't know how to get a statement, you can call your HR department and you can ask them, hey, how do I access my 401k, my current 401k? How do I access it? How do I see it online? Do I get statements? That sort of thing. And they'll be able to point you in the right direction on doing that. And then at the end of this webinar, end of this training, we'll show you how we can help you actually evaluate your plan to see if it matches your risk tolerance, if you're properly allocated based on what you're trying to do overall. So we'll show you how you can do that. All right. So the next thing is handling your old 401k. So old 401k is defined as you were working at a job, you're no longer working at that job, but you still have a 401k plan there. So it's old, just like it's an old job, it's an old 401k. With your old 401k, you have options in what you can do with it. One, you still want to get a statement. So pull together log into your accounts, review your statements, understanding what's there. A lot of times people like abandon their old 401ks because maybe you changed jobs, you got busy, you moved, whatever. You never thought about that 401k. But you could have money just sitting there and you may not be thinking about it. It happens all the time. People pass away all the time and leave money in old 401ks. And you know what ends up happening? If nobody claims that money, the government takes it. The government can actually take it as unclaimed property because nobody knew you had that $4,000 or $8,000 or 10 grand or 20 grand or whatever it is sitting in that old 401k from many, many years ago. Especially if it was a job where you worked there for a short period of time and it's been many years later, you may have some money in there. You need to know, where those things are at. So log into your accounts and making sure you understand that. The next thing, once you understand where your account is, how much is in there, what it's doing, you have a few options. A lot of people roll their money out of the 401k plan into something called an individual retirement account or an IRA. So an individual retirement account, you get more choices. You can even set up your individual retirement account to use it to buy real estate. It's called a self-directed individual retirement account where you can choose or direct the investments you want it to be invested in. A lot of people want to do real estate and they have money sitting in their old 401ks. They're not aware that they can use some of that money to purchase property. So that's something that you can do as using a self-directed IRA to do that. But you have to move it out of your 401k plan into your IRA in order to use it as a self-directed IRA. Another thing you can do is you can roll it over and have other investment choices in there. So one of the things we've helped a lot of our clients do is to roll it over and we protect that money from market losses. So there's different financial vehicles where you can roll your money into and you can have some of the upside of the market without participating in the downside when the market goes down. There's lots of different vehicles and lots of different things you can do. Main thing is don't abandon your old 401k. Make sure you're knowing where your assets are. I was talking to somebody the other day. they worked at almost every year, they moved around in a particular area to different states. And they saved money each one of those years. And if you add it all up, it's added to be a decent amount, but they just left those funds there. And so that's something that's very important for you to know, to not abandon your 401k.
That's your money, man.
That's your money. Don't leave your money behind. Let me tell you something else about that. If you don't pay attention to your money, money's not going to pay attention to you. It will leave you. Anything that you neglect will eventually leave you, right? You ever look at relationships? You ever neglect, whether it's romantic relationships, friendships, if you neglect somebody, they will leave you. If you neglect a child, they're not going to want to be around you. So understand, your money's the same way. Money has energy. So if you neglect your money, what are you saying? You're saying, oh, that thing's not important to me. So if it's not important to you, do you think money itself will flow to you? Money's not going to flow to you. You're going to be like, oh, this guy doesn't want us. We're not important to you. He's going to neglect us. He's going to leave us in the whole 401k and abandon us somewhere. Let's go to somebody else who's going to give us some attention, okay? So that's how you got to think about it. I think I'm joking, but I'm serious about that. So here's an example of one of the plans we helped a client do, who rolled some money over to us, and what they're doing now in this kind of economy. Right now, the stock market's been down. It's down over 20% from January. So you put that in perspective. Somebody had $1 million in a retirement account and it's down 20%. They just lost $200,000. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about that. That's money you're counting on for retirement. That's money that's going to ensure that they live the lifestyle they want when they're no longer working, or they choose to not work. So it's very important to make sure you have that. So here's one example. In May 2022, this client repositioned $400,000 to us in this plan. They like the idea. They're like, hey, I want to place some assets with you guys. Great. So what is it at today? So as of June 16, so a little bit over a month, they are at $480,000. This is meant to be used for income. So what the income will be based on is $480,000. That's as of right now. They got a 20% bonus, and they're going to receive 10% credited to their account every year for the next 10 years, and they're going to get credited 5% a year after that they'll use this money for income, and this will generate income for the rest of their life. So this is somebody who wanted to create cash flow. They're like, hey, I got this pool of money. I don't need it right away. I want to place it somewhere. I don't want to lose it. I don't want it to go up and down with the market, but I want to make sure that I can generate cash flow at some point in the future. So, and I don't want to run out of money. I want this cash flow to last the rest of my life, right? So, so that's what we helped this client to do, and they're very happy about that. So remember, the placed $400,000 in May, and they are at $480,000. So that part of that is they got a bonus and everything for moving those assets over. That's going to help increase what they're going to get for retirement, the cash flow in retirement. So sometimes the sooner a person does that, the better, because especially if they don't need the money right away and they're going to keep that money growing for retirement, that account will double in 8 years, regardless of if the client adds anything or does anything to it, as their worst case scenario. So the client doesn't have to take risk with that money. They can take risk with a bunch of other money that they might have, but they don't have to take risk with that specific one they need for retirement. You don't have to either. That's one of the ways you can actually grow your retirement accounts without, no matter what's happening in the markets. Look, when a recession happens, which most people expect that a recession will happen because economic growth is going down, inflation's high, and they're raising interest rates. So all of these things make it harder for companies to grow and expand and hire people. When all of those things happen, it affects your retirement accounts, right? The market goes down. When the market goes down, you have less money. So how do we make sure we keep growing and stay on track and create more certainty? Well, we use vehicles, we use tools that allow us to do that. So some of our show is one of them. We'll talk about that more. Some of you guys want more details about it afterwards. Towards the end of this, we'll show you how to get more details on how to do that. Everything's on sale. Keep investing regardless of what the market's doing. So that's a comment here on here. So yeah, that's one perspective. The thing is,
it depends on where you are in your financial journey, what your financial goals are, and what you need them to do.
Here's the thing. If you have $2 million and you're down 20%, means you lost $400,000, you're not running around saying everything's on sale. I get the idea and the concept. Yes, the asset, if you wanted to buy that asset, is on sale. If you lost money, it doesn't feel like it's on sale to you because it just went down. So what you need to do is you can protect your gains. This is what I did with my mom, right? So when I started looking at things and I thought things looked a lot uncertain, we took some of the money she already had, her gains that she made, and we repositioned those to safety. First of all, we repositioned those to safety. And then her money that she was still putting in at the time, she was buying assets at a lower price because those asset values had gone down. But we have protected what she already had. So it's like if I just lost $200,000 and I'm putting in $20,000 a year or $30,000 a year, sure, I'm getting those assets on sale. But what was my net? My net is I lost 200 grand, but I was able to put 30,000 more in. I'm still down 170. You get it? It's just you got to look at your net. If you lost more than you're buying into it, then you still have a net loss, whether it's on sale or not. So you have to factor that in, that you want to protect the gains you made. As now we're talking specifically about retirement accounts. You want to minimize losses in your retirement accounts. You want your retirement account to be predictable. Why? Because you want your cash flow to be predictable. Is your light bill predictable? Yeah, it comes every freaking month. It might go up. Is your grocery predictable? Generally, it's in a certain range. It's been going up. So, but you got to eat every day. So you go grocery shopping every week probably. So is your car payment predictable? Yeah, they want their money every week. All your bills are predictable. Now the dollar amount may change, but they want to get paid every freaking week. So if that's predictable, then your cash flow needs to be predictable, because you can't have unpredictability when it comes to retirement. That's my point. So on to handling your current IRA or Roth IRA. I touched a little bit on that, which is the way to handle that is sometimes you may want to reposition your gains that you've made. We did that a lot in before 2020, 2019. We repositioned a lot of clients away from market risk so they could preserve the gains that they had made those last few years. The new money going in, they could invest it however they want it, but we protected some of that. Sometimes you have to protect your gains that you make. Otherwise, if you don't protect your gains, if your market goes down and you have losses, then you have less money to work with. Nobody wants to go into retirement with less money. The fact is, most people go into retirement with too little money. They don't care that it's on sale. They're like, I wanted to have more money for retirement. What they needed to do was protect from losses in their retirement accounts. If you do that, it's much easier to win the game, because when the market comes back, you're not starting from a lower point. It's just, I'm just sharing some basic concepts, guys. It's like, if anytime you lose a dollar, you not only lose that dollar, you lose what that dollar would have earned for you had you not lost it in the first place. So if I have $1 million in my retirement account and I lose 200,000, I don't only lose that 200,000, I lose what that 200,000 would have earned for me had I not lost it in the first place. If I was able to minimize my losses when the market comes back, I don't have a wider bridge to cross. That's how you have to think about retirement. You have to protect. You want to get gains, but you want to protect from losses. What messes people up is your losses. If you don't lose money, you have more money. It's just basic. It's just simple. If you don't lose money, you have more money. You don't even have to get as high of a return as someone else who lost money because they went backwards. They have to make up the gap first before coming ahead. So handling your current IRA, Roth IRA, log into your accounts, making sure you understand your statements, and seeing if you need to reposition anything. It may still fit for you, and you may still want to keep it as invested. In my mom's case, we reallocated some of her investments a few years ago, which my mom's retired now. But we reallocated some of her investments. We positioned that to safety, and then her new money going in, She could put those little money that she's putting in every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That could go into a more aggressive position because we already protected the lump sum of her money. You see, that's how you got to think about it. Protect the big portion of your money, and then the little bit you're putting in, maybe you can be more aggressive with that. That way you have a strategy versus just at the whims of the market. So for those of you, Chelsea's going to do this part on how somebody can get more from us.
Yeah, so if you would like help in reviewing your retirement account, whatever kind of retirement account it is, we're offering a free review of your retirement account. Now, usually we require you to have at least $100,000 in your account to qualify for a free review. So we're making it available to more people. So we have a requirement of if you have at least $50,000 or more in your retirement account, you can apply for a free retirement review. And we'll look over your account. We can help you with, some options depending on what your financial goals are. And you can go to sixbuildingblocks.com/retirement, sixbuildingblocks.com/retirement, and you can request a free retirement review.
Can you X on that thing there?
Okay.
So yeah, guys, the idea here is you want to make sure you know that you're on track for your retirement. And unfortunately, there's not enough education about retirement planning and particularly income planning. Because I tell people all the time, your retirement is about cash flow. Retirement is about cash flow.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Yours was doing that before.
So retirement is about cash flow. Ultimately, why do you save for retirement? It's because you want a certain amount of cash flow when you stop working. That's basically it. Your 401k is essentially just a bucket of money, right? You're not going to spend all the money in 1 year. So what are you going to do with the money? You are going to convert it into cash flow. Why do people end up buying multifamily real estate? They buy it because of the cash flow. When you save for retirement, it's to generate cash flow. When you build a business, at some point, if you build a business big enough, it can produce enough revenue and profits that it generates cash flow to you and the other people, the partners, the employees, if they do a profit share and all of that. So your retirement account's the same way. So what you ought to do is think about cash flow, not just how much money is in my 401k account. There used to be this commercial years ago that says, what's your retirement number? And people are like, it's 1,333,000. Okay, great. So you got the 1,333,000. Now what? You have to turn it into cash flow that lasts the rest of your life. So Green just sent a message, see what she's saying. You have to turn it into cash flow that lasts the rest of your life. And so how do you do that? People used to retire with a pension. So a pension plan, people retire with a pension, and then a pension would pay you for the rest of your life. And that's how that worked. So she says somebody had a few more questions.
Yeah, you do your part,
Okay.
and
So,
I can look at the comments.
People retire with a pension. Well, now you have to create your own pension. People used to retire with there used to be called a three-legged stool. It was your personal savings, it was Social Security, and it was a pension. With those three legs made up a very solid stool of retirement. I don't know why they call it three-legged stool, but that's what it was called. And then in the 1980s, pensions in the private sector started going away. So fewer and fewer people got pensions. People in the militaries and in the government still get pensions. Some teachers still get pensions. And then Social Security is in doubt. In 2035, it's not going to be able to pay full benefits anymore. So it's going to pay a percentage of the benefits. So you can't really predict exactly what it's going to be. So then you have to have your own personal savings so that you can plan and predict. And there's financial tools that can make it predictable for you so that you know exactly what your retirement account will be the day you retire, how much cash flow will be generated, all of that. So, and then you know exactly how much income that would generate so that you can actually plan your lifestyle around that, or you can start building a plan to increase that income and cash flow, all kinds of things like that. So that's what we do when we talk about our retirement review, where we help people understand what their going over their lifestyle, what kind of cash flow they're going to need, and how to actually build a plan so that it's predictable, so that they know when they retire, they'll have that money there to last the rest of their life. Yes.
Okay, so someone asked if you're against 401k.
Am I against 401ks? Am I against 401ks?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not against 401ks. I don't have a bias towards or against any financial product or vehicle. My view is that financial instruments are either appropriate or inappropriate for the person. Just depends. So here's where my personal professional opinion when it comes to using a 401k, if you get a match, meaning you put some money in, your employer puts some money in to match you. I prefer a dollar for dollar match or a percentage match, meaning your employer puts in 4% and you put in 4%. You put in 4%, your employer puts in 4%. That's a dollar for dollar match. When companies start to try to reduce expenses, they will adjust the match. They'll say, you put in 4%, we'll put in 2%. So that's you put in $1, they put in 50 cents. That's not that's not as attractive in that sense, but you still get a return. A match is an automatic return on your money. So if it's a dollar for dollar match, that means you are effectively getting 100% return on your money. Now it's taxable to you, but it's still a return on your money. So that means if you put in, let's say your 4% is $4,000 and they put in $4,000, you now got $8,000. That was 100% return on your money. In that case, I probably wouldn't be as aggressive with that money. I would just be like, dude, I'm getting 100% return no matter what. So I don't think 401ks are bad. I think they're misunderstood because companies wanted to move. I did a video. It got 100,000 views on TikTok about 401ks. And in the 1980s, companies started getting rid of pensions. And so they made 401k plans available to the masses. It wasn't designed for that. It was a plan that executives would use to store their bonuses, so that they could defer the taxes on it. Like, okay, if I get a bonus right now, I want to pay taxes on it, but they really didn't need the bonus for the living expenses. They deferred the bonus to prefer to put the bonus into something, let that bonus grow for 10, 20, 30 years, and then access that at retirement. That's how it was initially being used. It then became made available to everybody. And then Wall Street made mutual funds as kind of the investment choice within your 401ks without educating people about how they work. So as a result, this wasn't so bad because in the 80s and in the 90s, the market was doing well. So people never questioned it. And then you had in the 2000s, you had a .com and .bomb and market crash. And then you had 9/11 and all those things happened. And in 2008, a bunch of people lost money again when the real estate market crashed. You had a big recession. So based on that, people were off track on their retirement. So you want to pop over on YouTube and see what the comments are?
No, I have the questions.
Okay.
So someone else asks, how would you protect money in an IRA?
There are financial vehicles that you can use. You can still have your IRA that you can place into it. I don't know the details of your plan. So if you have an IRA and you qualify for the amount we said, we'll be happy to do a review with you and look over your statements. But there are financial products and vehicles that allow you to get credit you gains without being invested in the market. In retirement plans, most people think they have to be in the stock market. The stock market is not the only place to grow your money. For example, real estate is not in the stock market. So if you have all of your money in the stock market, you become the effect of that. But you can have some of your money there and some of your money in other vehicles that don't correlate. So you actually minimize your risk. They're not correlated assets. You can have something that's in the market that moves with the market, and you can have money in other places. Like I can have money in the stock market and I can have money in real estate. I can have money in other financial vehicles that don't directly correlate with how the market moves. That helps me to minimize my market risk and my systematic risk. Because if that entire marketplace is trending downwards, I want to have some of my assets in other places that's not going to move the same way. So that way all my assets don't all go down at the same time. So that's where a retirement review will come into place and see how you're overall allocated, how much you have, are you balanced based on your risk tolerance. A lot of times people don't evaluate their risk tolerance. They think they're aggressive. Everybody thinks they're aggressive when the market's going up. Why? Because we want more, right? The market's going up, so I need to be aggressive. However, they're not aggressive so much when the market's going down, like they get scared. Why? Because they really weren't aggressive in the first place. They just wanted more. And so that's human nature. But there's tools, different financial products. I don't want to get into all of them because I don't know your specific situation, but you can go and request a retirement review with us, and it will help you look at what makes sense for you based on your specific situation.
Yeah, so I think there's other ones, but she thought we had YouTube up. So I think she's going to put them in here.
Okay.
And then that link again is 6buildingblocks.com/retirement to request a review if you have 50,000 or more in your retirement account. Could be 401k, IRA, 403b, TSP, Roth IRA.
Yeah. And the reason why we say that is under 50,000, you probably don't need an advisor. Now we can help do a checkup and different things. There's other plans and other things that we have where we have something called a financial strategy plan. We'll talk more about that on our live show on Monday. We're going to go live every week, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, to help people understand what are some things they need to be thinking about when it comes to personal development and financial development. We'll talk about some of the other products and services and different things we offer there. But a lot of times you don't necessarily need an advisor for a lot of financial things. If you are financially educated, a lot of these decisions you can make and handle on your own. And it's actually more empowering for you to do some of them when you're getting started because you get the foundational pieces in. Sometimes people acquire a lot of assets and they get busy with their careers and different things, and then they want the assistance of a professional who works in that area. So a lot of times that's where people come to us. They already have built up a retirement account and they want to start planning for income. They're like, okay, I've been saving all this money in my 401k. How exactly am I going to take income? How exactly do I protect it? How exactly do I make sure I don't lose money? And I can predict what my income will be based on what financial products are available out there. So that's a lot of times that's when they need somebody like us to help them understand, okay, these are the tools that's available. These are the plans that can be put together for you. And this is what your retirement account will be on this date. You said she was putting in a comment in there?
I think that might be it.
Okay. So
someone was asking about life insurance.
Do you want me to answer that?
No, I think they're just saying that they wanted help with life insurance and asking if we're licensed in all states. We can do business in all states.
Yeah, so life insurance is also something that we do. We can help people with that. There's lots of different financial tools out there. Some of them are appropriate for your situation and some of them are not. In order to determine what's appropriate for you, we would need to know more about your specific situation, what problem you're trying to solve. That way we can make a recommendation that's actually appropriate for whatever it is you're trying to do or handle. But lastly, I don't have a problem with 401ks, IRAs. I think they're all useful. I've had 401ks before. Chelsea's had 401ks before. Years ago, we actually used to set up 401k plans for companies. I would go in there and establish the whole plan, meaning I was the advisor to the entire company's plan for various companies. And they'll have a lot of assets in those plans. And our thing was we try to make sure that people were educated about the plans, how they worked, and how they can make better decisions for themselves, because it's only through them being educated can they actually take more control over their finances. So once again, 6buildingblocks.com/retirement. If you like your free retirement review, you can go in there and request one, and we will go through the process of helping you understand and build out an exact plan for your retirement that can produce income for you, especially if you live a long time, because you don't want to run out of money when you're 80 or 90 years old. All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.